In this brand new defensive series, we're diving deep into the career of one of the most impactful defensive minds in football history, Pete Carroll. From his dominant run at USC in the 2000s to his historic Legion of Boom era in Seattle, Carroll's defensive philosophy has consistently emphasized physicality, speed, and discipline. And now I'm going to break down how we can run his defense in College Football 25 and Madden 25, and I'm going to be calling this scheme the Legion of Troy defense. Now, this defensive series will be split into 4 videos. In College Football 25, we'll break down his USC defensive scheme, and it'll have a nickel-based coverage defense and a 4-3 base setup. Then in Madden 25, we'll break down the Legion of Boom defense from his time with the Seahawks with the same structure, where we have one video breaking down the nickel defense and another breaking down 4-3 formations. Then in addition to the defensive installs, we'll also be dropping 2 dedicated videos breaking down the USC offense and the Seahawks offense during Carroll's tenure, covering how Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart lit up college football and how Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, and a lethal play-action game helped Seattle control the clock and win a Super Bowl. Now, Pete Carroll's defensive journey began in the NFL, but it was his arrival at USC in 2001 that cemented him as one of the top defensive architects in football. At USC, Carroll built one of the most dominant dynasties in college football history. From 2001 to 2009, the Trojans won 7 straight Pac-10 titles, captured 2 national championships, and produced a staggering number of elite defenders. Carroll's USC defenses were known for flying to the ball, sound tackling, and making life hell for quarterbacks. He ran a hybrid 4-3 scheme with NFL-level concepts and top-tier athlete deployment at every level of the field. After returning to the NFL in 2010 as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Carroll carried over many of the same principles he honed at USC, but adjusted them for the pro game. There he built one of the greatest defensive units of all time, the Legion of Boom. From 2012 to 2015, the Seahawks led the NFL in scoring defense for 4 straight seasons, a feat not accomplished in decades. Built around the cover 3 zone and a dominant 4-3 under front, the Seahawks terrorized quarterbacks with the Legion of Boom secondary, a dominant linebacker core, and one of the most well-coordinated pass rushes in the NFL, and this led to 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl victory. Now, in Madden 25 and College Football 25, we're going to be recreating both versions of Carroll's legendary schemes, and the Legion of Troy defense is designed to let you absolutely dominate in both games. Now let's break down the core defensive principles that define the Legion of Troy defense. Pete Carroll's philosophy is rooted in simplicity, speed, and execution, but under the hood, it's built to stop the best offenses of these eras. So Carroll's defenses are traditionally built from a 4-3 under defensive structure. This alignment shifts the defensive line and puts a Sam linebacker on the line of scrimmage while having 2 off-ball backers who are free to flow to the football and make plays. This gives us the ability to stop the run and bring some super unique blitzes to the table, and this will be the foundation of our early down defenses, especially when facing 12 and 21 personnel. Then when teams start spreading the field, Carroll evolved his system to bring in dynamic nickel packages. These setups allow us to add speed to the field, bringing in an extra defensive back who can play coverage, blitz, and also help in run support. And in Madden, we are going to mostly be running our nickel formation out of big nickel over G, and then in College Football 25, we're mostly going to be running the nickel over formation. Then this scheme lives in single high coverages and especially cover 3. From basic spot drop to more advanced match principles, our defenses will specialize in a cover 3 shell. We'll also use Carroll's patented cover 3 match coverage, which blend man and zone responsibilities for tighter coverage versus modern route combos. Then we can install our cover 3 man hybrid look, where we start in a cover 3 shell, but now we can man up any 2 players on the field, and this is a game changer that lets you shut down the opponent's best concepts while keeping your zone integrity everywhere else. Then Pete Carroll has always prioritized athletes, long corners, rangy safeties, twitchy linebackers, and edge rushers who can bend and strike. That's why in this defense, our personnel selection matters just as much as the scheme. We want size and speed at every level. Our DBs need to win at the catch point, our linebackers have to cover in space and blitz, and our D-line needs to play with controlled violence when stopping the run and when getting after the passer. Then if you want to take your college football 25 game to the next level, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. Up right now, we have the first mini scheme for this defense where we break down the dime normal formation, and I give you guys 6 plays that work in both college football and Madden. They're a mix of lockdown coverages and really effective blitzes that will give you a great head start for this Carroll defense. Then we have a ton more videos upcoming for this Legion of Troy scheme that will be only found on Scheme Kings. Then there's also a ton of different content you can find on the site. We have our super spread offense where I break down 3 of the most explosive passing attacks in NCAA history and show you how you can run them in college football 25. We have our triple option offense inspired by some of the greatest option attacks we have ever seen. We have defensive schemes like my Nick Saban defense that works for both Madden and college football, and a complete Bill Belichick career defense tailored for Madden 25. So by subscribing to the site, you'll get full access to all of my Madden and college football 25 content for one price. And you can purchase a yearly membership which will save you $50 over the course of the year. And I'm also running my Legion of Troy launch sale, and it's going to run until June 15th. Use code PETE at checkout for 50% off your first month if you go with the monthly membership. So if you want to check out Scheme Kings, I will leave a link for it down below in the description. Now in this section, we're going to break down the core players and roles that define our Legion of Troy defense. From our 4-3 formations to our nickel sub packages, we'll show you how we want to deploy our personnel when we're in both college football 25 and Madden 25. So when we're playing NCAA, you want to use any 4-3 playbook, and here's a list of them all right here. Then in Madden 25, we're going to be using the Kansas City Chiefs defensive playbook. Now starting with our 4-3 front 7 and our defensive ends, the 4-3 D ends in Carroll's scheme are explosive edge setters who must anchor the run on early downs and create pressure with 4-man rushes. At USC, he had Lawrence Jackson, who is a dominant force who could set the edge and collapse the pocket. In Seattle, he had Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill, who brought versatility, able to rush inside or outside depending on the front. In Madden, we have Dwight Freeney and Max Crosby, who give us elite pass rushing juice off the edge, with Freeney's elite speed and then Crosby's motor strength and awareness. Let them both play the run and the pass. And then in college football 25, we have Will Anderson. He gives us NFL-ready tools as a pass rusher, while Joey O'Neal brings a great first step explosiveness and the frame to hold up against power run teams. Then moving on to D tackles, the 4-3 D tackles in Carroll's defense are split in between 1 tech, this is a run-stopping nose tackle, and a 3 tech, this is your penetrating disruptor. The 1 tech must command double teams and hold their ground, while the 3 tech must be able to beat guards and get into the backfield. Seattle's Brandon Mebane and USC's Mike Patterson were both elite at fulfilling these roles and were tough, explosive, and gap sound. In Madden, we have Dexter Lawrence as our anchor, capable of controlling both A-gaps while freeing up linebackers. Then in college football 25, we have Peebles. He is a massive space eater who holds up against blocks and resets the line of scrimmage, and Hunter, who is our athletic interior weapon. Then the Mike or middle linebacker in Carroll's scheme is the command center. He makes the calls, reads the play, and cleans up everything in the box. These players must excel in both run fits and underneath zone drops. Bobby Wagner and Lofa Tatupu were complete linebackers, quick processors with physical tools to hit and cover. Then in Madden, we have Bobby Wagner, who leads the defense with his elite play recognition, hit power, and zone IQ. Then in college football 25, we have Junior Seau. He takes on the same role with even maybe more explosiveness. He plays fast and violent, capable of blowing up run plays or carrying verticals up the seam when needed. Then our outside linebackers. These are the most versatile defenders in Carroll's scheme. They must drop into zone, defend perimeter runs, and be timely blitzers. Brute Servant was the perfect fit for Carroll's scheme, able to set the edge against the run, then fire off the edge as a pass rusher, while Clay Matthews at USC brought the same speed and physicality. Now in Madden, we're using Clay Matthews. He plays with controlled aggression. He's going to be a blitzer for us. Then we have Lance Briggs, who brings elite awareness and quick twitch in space. He can cover curl flats and scrape down the line with ease. In college football 25, we have Micah Parsons, who gives us true positionless athleticism. He can drop in zone, spy the QB, or fire off the edge. Then we also have Lawrence Taylor, who is a chaos engine, able to collapse the edge and instantly punish QBs whenever he gets a chance. Okay, now talking about our front 7 when we're in nickel. Now here, the personnel along the defensive line will remain the same as our base 4-3 looks. Both in college football and Madden, our nickel formations will feature 4 down linemen with wider DN splits to help maximize edge pressure. These wider alignments are designed to force quick throws, disrupt outside runs, and create create cleaner angles for our pass rushers. In this look, our edge defenders will focus a little bit less at setting the edge against the run and more on bending the arc and generating fast pressure off the edge. Our inside tackles will still control gaps when needed, but then they also want to collapse the pocket and disrupt the QB's platform with quick penetration whenever possible. For our nickel backers, we have two on the field, and they must be a dynamic, able to cover running backs and tight ends and play vertical hook zones and fill quickly whenever they see run plays. In Seattle, Carroll had KJ Wright, who was incredibly rangy and versatile, able to drop into coverage, diagnose plays quickly, and close up space sideline to sideline. At USC, he had physical freaks like Brian Cushing and Ray Malulaga, who could roam free, blitz, cover, and stuff the run with equal effectiveness. So in Madden, we have Wagner, who continues to lead the charge here, and then we have Lance Briggs rotates in as our other backer, who's really good in coverage and can run all over the field. And then in College Football 25, we keep Seo on the field, and then we also bring in Lawrence Taylor, who is our other nickel linebacker and becomes a weapon as a blitzer or a player who can run sideline to sideline. Okay, now getting into our secondary, and this is going to be the same for 4-3 and nickel. So in Carroll's cover 3 heavy system, corners are long, physical, and smart. They play press and bail, play the deep third, and squeeze out-breaking routes. Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner revolutionized the mold and helped create the backbone of the Legion of Boom, which became the most infamous secondary in NFL history. Terrell Thomas played a similar physical style at USC. So in Madden, we have Richard Sherman, and he is the prototype. Elite awareness, long arms, and ball skills. Tariq Woolen at CB2 brings world-class speed and ridiculous length. In College Football 25, we have Joey Porter Jr., who is long, physical, with strong press technique, and Marshawn Lattimore, who adds some elite man coverage ability. Then for our safeties, the free safety must erase deep balls and take away posts. The strong safety is the enforcer in the box who can blitz, cover tight ends, or buzz to the flats. This mirrors the Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor dynamic from the LOB years in Seattle. At USC, Carroll also had elite safeties like Taylor Mays and Troy Polamalu. Mays brought rare size and straight line speed to the safety position, while Polamalu was a generational playmaker with unmatched instincts and range. So in Madden, we have Ed Reed at free safety is the elite range and instincts to play the deep third. Then Sean Taylor is our hammer, a missile in the box with the coverage chops to play hook zones or match tight ends. And then in College Football 25, we have Reed again in our free safety role, and Derwin James plays the strong safety. James gives us hybrid flexibility, able to move in the box or play over the slot as needed. Then lastly, we have our nickel back. So he is our pseudo linebacker slash DB. He can cover quick slot wide receivers, blitz off the edge, and play curl flat in zone. Walter Thurman and Jeremy Lane thrived in these roles for Seattle. In Madden, we have Deron Bland as our go-to guy here. He's sticky in man, fluid in zone, and has the speed to run with anyone inside. Then Alpha Khan is our Swiss Army knife in College Football 25. Great closing speed, physical enough to reroute, and smart enough to drop into our zone coverage rotations. Now, once you get your hands on this full scheme, you are going to be unstoppable. But remember, the first part of this Legion of Troy defense is already live on Scheme Kings and ready for you to start learning right now. But defense is just one side of the ball. If you want to start dominating on offense as well, you need to check out my new 1990 Nebraska Cornhuskers triple option offense, and you can watch that by clicking right here.